How long does the phone last before I have to charge it again? Maximum maybe about a day. If you play a lot of games, then maybe every few hours. Same goes for your laptop, right? That's because they're very power consuming. Also notice when you use it very intensely, right, it tends to heat up. Why is that? It's because their processor, which is like your i5, i7 kind of processor, and then your memory, your 8 GB RAM, 16 GB RAM kind of memory, they are relatively far apart, as in a few cm apart. So then the connecting wires between the processor and the memory has relatively high electrical resistance. Also, every second, right, you have billions of signals passing through between your processor and the memory. So you have relatively high electrical resistance and then billions of signals passing through. Naturally, you have a lot of power loss in the form of heat. You convert a lot of electrical energy into heat energy to dissipate to the environment, which is why your devices tend to heat up. Also, you need to charge it a lot of times. But we can solve that. We can solve that by taking inspiration from perhaps the most power efficient processing unit there is. We all have it. Your brain. Your brain consumes about 20 watts of power. Compare that against your state-of-the-art supercomputer, right? Which does pretty much the same thing as the brain, like visual recognition, audio recognition, those kind of things. Megawatts of power. That means millions of watts of power. Compare that against 20 watts from your brain. So we have much to learn from the brain. Okay? Now this new form of computing, we call it neuromorphic computing. Neuron as a neuron, right? Like the brain. Within this architecture, we have two main components. Your neuron, which is your processor, your synapse, which is your memory. Now your synapse serves to feed signals to the neuron. Okay? It's like from your memory, you feed information to the processor, and then the processor, which is your neuron, starts to figure it out. Okay? And then the moment these signals pass a certain threshold in your neuron, then your neuron will start firing. Once your neuron fires, it means that your processor has figured out what is going on, has figured out the answer. So then the processor will give you the answer. That means to say, once it passes the certain threshold in the neuron, your neuron will fire. It will emit its own signal. It will give you its answer. Okay, so the processor gives you its answer, which is how the architecture works. Synapse, your memory, feeds information, electrical signals to the neuron, the processor. The processor receives enough signals, passes through a certain threshold, it fires. Your processor fires. The processor has the answer and then gives it to you. That's how it works.